Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Patrons video today that I am making for Yida as part of their custom monthly music review. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves the track on the screen. This is by an act named WeiBird, titled Red Scarf. So we're going to listen through this track from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. We also have lyrics at the end, courtesy of Yida, so thank you very much for that. Let's go! I'm loving the piano and the string sections immediately. Red Scarf by WeiBird. I like the fact we had the guitars and vocals. Because when you had the pianos and strings come in, you didn't expect those instruments. So they're in a similar key signature. But it's still like, oh wait, what's happening now? Oh, there's vocals. Oh, and you're sucked into it. You know what I mean? Really friendly vocal melody there, you know, palatable. Great mid-high resonance with the guitars and piano. Oh, pizzicato plucks on the strings. Oh, that took me by surprise. I was not expecting to get chills at that moment. I think it was just because I wasn't expecting drums at that point, and then they just come in with those crescendo on the floor tom and the snare. It's like ba 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 ba, and you're like, wow, what's happening now? I kind of adore that. Because like the bridge came in and I was like, I don't know if I'm particularly vibing with this, but no, we've got it. Great job having the vocals of the movie over top. I like having the drums here. I think it adds a nice little bit of extra to it. Lots of variation with the way the strings are played. Those little staccato kind of bows are wonderful. There's just so much energy and vibrancy and care taken in the composition. We are not sleeping on any instruments, allowing them to overstay the welcome or overplay their additions. It's constant development, and it works in this track well because of the consistency of the way the vocalist sounds. Oh man, it's a really pretty track. I think part of what makes me feel upset is that I can see the people are upset and I can see the crying and it's the emotions on their faces. In the past, I've been fastidiously unaware of why I become emotionally connected by things, but I think that's the power of a music video in certain situations. There are obviously exceptions to this, such as Zhang Yusheng's stuff, like where I will cry every time I listen to it. But, you know, like songs, I think that's the power of the audio-visual experience. that there. And then, hey, you know, that semitonal little shift there. Hey, usually you do that. But he goes, hey, and it's just such a fun little melody that works off of the blues phrasing of some of those parts in the overall composition. Great dynamic range to this, things coming down like this. Good choice. His head voice as well for the vocalist is fantastic. Really pretty, you know. I would have liked an alternative lead layer. I know we're getting closer to the end of the song now. I would have liked an alternative, an alternate lead instrument here. 'Cause while I am enjoying the way that the vocalist sounds when they sing, and while I am enjoying the variation in the tail phrasings of these melodies, I'm greedy and I would like more. I think that they could have potentially had, like, I don't know, an additional kind of piano part, or maybe there could have been a string solo or guitar solo. It's a very pretty video, though. There's just a lot going on, so I have no idea what to make of the music of the video. I'm assuming it's just off of a soundtrack for a film, but we're gonna find out in the lyrics section, I think. I'm sure there's people watching this who are already intimately familiar with what this track is about. That was a nice flourish at the end with the strings refusing to resolve in that root note. Ba-da-da-dum. I think that is an extension, either a 7th or a 9th note that they are going up to there. And it's just really pretty to have the rain as the endpoint there to match well with the theme of the movie. It's great. So that's been really pleasant so far. Thank you to Yida for this wonderful choice. And as promised, we have the lyrics section here. This is off the Till We Meet Again. It's OST. I think that is the movie Till We Meet Again, with the featuring artist WeiBird. And the song is titled Red Scarf. English translation is If Possible. So, your voice solved the story's riddle, setting a promise of 10,000 years. You under the tree with that red scarf and the rain in your palm, crying and laughing, but you are still you. Okay. I just want to embrace the evidence beside you and kiss your breath once you agree in a blink of an eye. A moment is forever, it won't change. Oh, so is this about people who are fated to be together and fates being broken, etc., and that's the main contention, is the fact that they don't want those threads to be broken, they're trying to reseal their fate? If possible, I'd meet you at a glance in the vast sea of people in 1,000 years. This is what people tell me about a lot of this music being, and this language being especially poetic, and I would agree with that. You don't get this in English a lot of the time, you know? The one who turns around under the moonlight would be you. The red thread crosses the secret of reincarnation. I squander my luck. Because of you, I'm not afraid to turn my luck on fate. So they're asking here what caused them to burst into flames. You are the reason why I decided to bet on the world. Oh man, come on. That's getting to me a little bit. Not in a bad way. It makes me feel very sad, you know? Because this is my conclusion of this track by WeiBird, titled Red Scarf. What do I think this track is about? I think is about people who are basically, they believe in fate, and they have these threads tying them together to others, and they are looking at what has caused them to separate or fall apart. And I think that is a story that a lot of people will be able to relate to. If it connects to the movie, then that's well done as well. It gives me an idea of what the movie is about from the point of a song, and that's incredibly well written. For me to get a summation of the track in that space of time from it is wonderful. So good job writing the lyrics of this track in that way. very beautiful. I think that not only that, but the vocals there, while I did enjoy the head voice of the guy, and he sings really well, and his head and chest voice is fantastic, and there's nice bits of technique and legato work and vibrato, etc. I would have potentially wanted more range from him, in the sense that what I wanted was... Actually, no, can I say that though? That's not fair, because the guy sang really well and it was pleasant to listen to, and that could be just his vocal range. And he did belt his heart out at the end. There was dynamic range to his vocal performance. No, he did well. He did well. I don't think we could have really done more with it than we had. I think there was a single vocalist, because it was from the position of a person, and having the extra vocal layers might have been a little bit confusing, so that's fine. But yeah, okay, so in that regard, I guess the vocals were great. The story at 4.5 minutes, I think we had a few choruses in there that I don't know if we needed that one extra chorus at the end. That's okay. The verse sections, part of the bridge parts, you know, the choruses, they flowed well and elegantly into each other. I liked the combination of the piano, the guitars, and the strings we had at the start, you know, minimalist kind of additions there that painted the what was going to come, with the vocals kind of lifting them up. And while I wasn't initially sold until like the drums came in, I do compliment their skill on establishing a motif with that range of instruments there. Lots of range to it. Then obviously the bass and the drums came in there, and the vocals just belted out, and it was great. It was huge sounding near the end, you know. I enjoyed it a lot. I wish there'd been another lead instrument later on, but like that, just to have a kind of a point of difference from the vocals, but that's okay. I know a lot of people, especially in this part of the world, they like, you know, like play, you know, and in the Asiatic region, you know, across all sorts, we like our vocal led parts, and I think that's fantastic. I've noticed this from like a lot of Japanese music as well. Like we like our vocal focus, you know. I think that the piano was played elegantly on the right hand, with the strings filling in as a soft mid-range layer, and the guitars with the sort of the plucked kind of melodic bits as well sounded pretty. There might have been some chords that came in on the guitars later on, and they typically exchanged with the major or minor triads there. But yeah, they're just really pleasant to listen to, you know, really pleasant to listen to. I enjoyed hearing them out. It was great to be able to sort of vibe with the drums when they came in with those floor tom and snare parts here, and kept that 8th note groove going along with some 16ths occasionally. The bass line sort of staying in that low range there to be supportive of the root notes. The guitars double tracks sounded huge in the mix there with those triads, and the pizzicatos and little sort of staminal kind of like accented kind of bows with the strings alongside the piano continuing to articulate itself throughout. And when working alongside the vocals, you know, if we accept that it's a focal focus track with the story being the main element there, and a reinforcement of that theme being really necessary, or the themes of the track in regards to the story and the lyricism, then that's really well done. It was a gentle kind of ballad build there that I think was appropriate for the subject matter, and the chemistry between the various instrumentalists and the vocalist was great, and the story matched very well. The motif did sound sad, but there was some jazzy little extensions there occasionally, or some classical kind of like ballad kind of decisions made there from a compositional perspective that made it seem a little bit more friendly and wholesome there, and gave a sense of warmth. There was love there, but trepidation. That's what I got from the theme itself, so I think that makes sense with the lyrics. The studio recording, mixing, and mastering is commercial grade. I'm really happy with how it sounds. I'm impressed with the quality of it. I think that we nailed the vocal takes, the vocal performances were nicely filtered and EQ'd without too much sort of like overproduction or kind of like complication there. It was really great to listen to the other elements of the mix that were nicely recorded and filtered and EQ'd too. There wasn't a lot of like processing on the various elements. Like the drums sounded kind of raw sounding with a bit of compression there. That was nicely sidechained to the bass though. You know, the bass was cut into, but not too much. It was gentle. There was dynamic range to the performance, so things didn't feel too squeezed. And the leveling of the various elements of the track, including guitars, piano, strings in the mid to high range was well done. I think that in regards to the, you know, like there was nice and wide in the stereo field, you know, lots of fun placement of elements in that range there. I also really did enjoy what was going on with the overall sort of like sound, the loudness of it, because it was nice loud without pumping. But again, there was differences in loudness to quietness there. We did bring it down sometimes and then brought it back up there, and there was changes in energy levels perception throughout. There was not only assisted by the vocal performance there, with the guy being in a similar octave range, but vocal range, but also knowing how to sort of like communicate in a way that was effective with the story, but also the other instruments keeping in tune with that. So overall, I think a very positive review. This is my, my review of WeiBird and their track Red Scarf. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go check them out on their various social medias and their YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next SP Patrons video. Spiderhands out.